Hey everyone, I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is
Literature on the Rocks. Yay!
Ooh, ooh.
Iggy, 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 iggy.
Book summary. My heart was singing book summary.
All right, that's good. I'm glad it's singing.
Yeah, at least something's singing about you.
At least there's something positive in there.
Because the Lord knows we're always singing something.
Seriously.
Apparently, it's neurodivergent because of it.
Speaking of, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month,
Yes, it is.
which pairs perfectly with the book we're going to be diving into today. I feel like just with Mental Health Awareness Month and motherhood, obviously the book we're about to get into is a much...
It's a trauma response.
Yes.
Is their mental health issue.
Yeah. I feel like just as moms, having some time for yourself, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's
there's
super
this-
important.
Yeah, there's a stigma around how you have to have it all together. Mom guilt is real, man. And this month I've actually really felt mom guilt like I haven't felt it in a long time. At least for me, the mental health that I have to continue to work on.
It's finding some time for yourself.
Not shaming myself for...
Giving yourself the space to not do everything
Yes.
100%
Yes.
all of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a couple times that we've told you, like, it's okay that that didn't happen or that we didn't get to that or whatever. You're your own worst critic, I think, sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
Rachel and I are like, no, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're like, no.
Yeah.
It's like a blessing and a curse, I feel like, right? Because you get some shit done.
But
Also,
then I never
your-
live up to my expectations.
your
a lot of
own
times.
expectations, though,
Yes.
because I don't think anybody else is really knocking you down for it.
Yeah, I think the thing that is the hardest is with my son, right? The things that I beat myself up most about are I have to work every weekend or right for Easter weekend or the weekends leading up to Easter. We had all these events planned. I was planning on jumping in for all of these events and because of that, missing out on a lot of things. You know, my kid was not going to be able to go to his cousin's birthday party or someone else was going to have to take him and I wasn't going to be there. So every weekend it was something that I didn't feel like I got the quality time with him or even with my husband. And then it was like, now I'm failing as a wife, I'm failing as a mom, or I have to not do the events and things that I've worked on. I saw this reel where she was talking to like a college graduates and saying, people always ask me, how do I have a successful business, be a single mom of 3? How do you do it all? And she said, if I'm answering honestly, I'll tell you I don't. If you see me thriving and being amazing and successful in my career, then I'm probably sacrificing time with my children. And if you see me being an awesome mom, there's probably something at work that I'm not doing. So I can't give 100% to all the things. There are times when you sacrifice one for the other and figure out how to live life being okay in that space. And I very much so, especially in the last month, absolutely agree with that. I can't do all the things. I had to either not color Easter eggs with my son and go to an event or allow someone else to step into that and handle it and then spend time with my son. So yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's so tough. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so deep too, because I think for the 3 of us, as 3 friends who have similar goals and similar personalities, in that we just kind of take on a lot on our plate.
Well, we've always been driven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we were moms.
Yes.
And even now, not that we're not driven, but we were highly motivated and career ambitious.
Always.
And we got where we are, stable, successful careers. And now we have kids. And
It blew up my whole world and my whole thought process about what I thought was important to me.
Yeah.
And what I wanted. And it's people tell you that, right? They tell you like, oh, wait till you have kids or wait till you whatever. And wait till you have kids because your perception and your priorities and your thought processes will shift. Not necessarily in a bad way, but just wait till you have them because that's what's going to happen.
Like
Yeah.
I can tell you until I'm blue in the face, but nothing will prepare you
Yes.
until it actually happens.
Yeah.
And then usually it rocks your world and you're like, I wasn't prepared. How come no one told
Yes.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, we did tell you, but there's no way that I can tell you
yes.
until you've experienced it sometimes.
Right. And I deal with it all the time. Even right now, like we have a lot on our plates
Yeah.
and trying to balance it. And I struggle with like these moments that I'm missing with her are so far and few between that I'm never getting them back. Right. And that's what I try to tell myself. Like, I'm never going to get this moment back, but I'm trying to have a memory of like, there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture. And that's, I feel like what all of this is it's a balance.
Yeah. And I think looking at it from a different lens too,
That's what I was
like
gonna say.
our kids don't know that, like they don't they're not feeling the sacrifice right now.
No, but
They're I know, we are.
Yeah.
But when they get older, they're just going to see like, my mom was a badass and she did all of these great things, and that's what they're going to remember.
And I inspire to be like her.
Yeah.
I want to be the world rocker or whatever, history
or just
maker.
somebody that they're super proud of, right?
Yeah.
Like, wow, look at what they accomplished.
Yeah.
And of course, we're setting an example that,
Yeah.
like, chase your dreams, be the person that you want to be, put the mark on the world that you want to put the mark on, right?
Yes.
I kind of feel like that's what we are doing here, is we putting our own little mark on the world a little bit.
Yeah.
In our own little corner of the book world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, but
And I think social media has a lot to do with that too, because there's a lot of stuff out there about all these great things that I do, and I bake for my kids, and we make muffins every day, or we do this is
They're
our
like, oh, I just
these are the
poured
movie
cereal.
nights.
right. Like, I just
Like-
heated up
I just
nuggets.
milked the cow and made him non-pasteurized milk. Like
gosh,
it's just like all this,
yes.
and then the whole like grind and hustle mentality.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, there's just a lot of media being consumed about how you have to be all in on everything 100% of the time.
all the time. Yeah.
It's impossible.
it's
and that's the thing.
exhausting.
Yes, it's exhausting. And I was going to say, so you mentioned like the change the lens.
Yeah.
Okay, so my thought was change the lens from I'm missing so many little moments to trying to be more focused on the moments that I do have and I do get. And I think that when I focus on those things, I find that I'm easier on myself.
Yeah.
I'm being more positive and I'm being kinder to myself, that it's not about the moments that I missed, it's the moments that I got with them.
And making those moments big enough that it
Yes.
drowns out the other memories of you not being there.
Right, because
Yeah.
those are going to keep coming.
Yeah. Because I mean, we're human and we all have our own dreams and aspirations and things that we
Yeah.
want to accomplish in life. And I think it's good to have those things and to keep working towards them, because they're going to see your commitment and your work ethic, and that will bleed into them.
I mean, motherhood, I think in general, has a lot of mental health
Yeah, for sure.
things that really play into it, right? This is a good month to just remind all the moms out there to just give yourself some grace.
We see
Yeah.
you and you're doing a great job.
Yeah, you are.
All right. Well, let's get into this book, which is very much so on theme of mental health, and
It's a
get
deep one.
ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Give us an author summary.
Author bio, we have Catriona Ward, is an internationally acclaimed author known for her gothic and psychological horror novels, including Last House on Neela Street, Sundial, which came out in 2022, and Looking Glass Sound came out in 2023. She was born in Washington, D.C. She spent her childhood across various countries. Ward studied English at St. Edmund Hall in Oxford and later earned a master's in creative writing from the University of East Anglia, which is also in the UK. Before turning to writing, she trained as an actor in New York City, which was an experience that honed her understanding of narrative and character building. Ward typically writes horror and thriller novels. She claimed that her inspiration for writing in this genre comes from a personal place. As a teenager, she experienced hypnagogic hallucinations,
What does that mean?
which is a vivid,
Hypnagogic.
often terrifying hallucination that happens in between being awake and falling asleep.
Like a falling
Yes,
dream.
that's exactly
like
that.
but it's not a dream because
But
you're
it-
awake.
Correct. She's like half asleep, half awake. She's like,
Is that
in
all it was?
between?
Was her falling? I need to know more about these.
No.
Is it like
Hold
a
on.
demon crawling out from under her bed?
She had a
ring?
reoccurring experience
Out of the
that
TV.
involved feeling a hand pushing her out of bed. And she later
Oh.
used that feeling to channel
So,
her writing.
yes, a little bit, but also creepier.
Yes.
Like perhaps maybe did we need to just like bless the house with a priest? Like
burn some sage.
yeah.
So I don't know, but I did read into it. And for some people, it can be like actual visual hallucinations.
Oh, shit.
Auditory, and both at the same time. So you're in this like in between sleep awake state. So it makes it scarier than a dream because you can't tell what's real and what isn't anymore. Wild, right?
Yeah.
Scary. So she had those as a teenager. She currently resides between London and Devon. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, exploring the countryside, and engaging in conversations about literature and storytelling. That is Catriona Ward.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, so then into the summary, we have our non-spoiler, I hope. In a boarded up house at the end of a quiet street, something strange is happening. Ted lives there. He's a man whose life is ruled by strict routines, a locked fridge, and a lot of secrets. Inside the house, there's also a cat who reads the Bible and a little girl who isn't allowed to go outside. suicide. Meanwhile, a woman haunted by the disappearance of her sister believes the answers might be hidden behind Ted's front door. This is a dark, mind-bending, deeply emotional read that explores what it means to survive the unspeakable. If you like your horror tangled with empathy and psychological depth, this one's for you.
That was good.
Awesome. The cocktail this week, we are calling it Ted's Tonic. It includes 1.5 ounces of whiskey. We did some honey whiskey. 1 ounce of orange juice, a 1/2 ounce lemon juice, a 1/2 ounce honey syrup, and a splash of soda water. We also did a drop of vanilla extract when we shook it and garnished with an orange slice. Vibe check. This drink looks innocent, almost comforting, but hides a smoky, citrusy bite underneath. It nods to the story's dual realities, strange tenants, and of course, Olivia the cat. All right, you guys. So, all right, let's taste these cocktails, you guys.
Cheers.
Oh, but it's pretty good.
Oh, that is good. Ooh, I really like this one. It's a great spring drink.
Oh, yeah.
That splash of vanilla really did something to it, too.
Yeah, I like it.
It almost gives you creamsicle vibes with it.
A little bit.
Yeah. Popsicle girl.
Oh, Popsicle Girl. Is that the name of our cocktail?
Okay.
We changed our mind.
Okay.
Yeah, we're tasting it.
Yeah.
We want to name it Popsicle Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into these chumpies.
Yeah, chomponia.
Going into this book, I feel like warning. It's weird, okay? And it doesn't
chaotic.
It doesn't get better. So there are no chapter numbers. They're just the names of the person who is talking. Each chapter toggles between the narrators. So you're either listening to Ted, Dee, Lauren, or Olivia. And it does definitely add to a little bit of the chaotic feel. So it starts off with Ted. It's the anniversary of a little girl's disappearance. They refer to her as the Popsicle Girl. She disappeared years and years ago. I think it was like 15 years ago where we are. And the cops came to his house and they...
Yeah.
But the missing girl, he was a suspect.
Cops come to his house because he's a suspect in the disappearance of this little girl. This like local paper comes and takes a picture and tells him, if I don't take a photo, it never happened or something like that. There's no story. So his picture ends up getting in the local
But he like
newspapers.
stands there for the picture in front of his house with the cops.
There are a lot of right off the bat in your first chapter. There are a lot of things that Ted does that make you feel like he's not quite
Definitely neurodivergent.
He's neurodivergent, yeah. And so he gets his picture taken and they post it in the local newspaper. They did get in trouble for it, he states, but this has caused a lot of people to come because they kind of figure out where his house is and they start throwing rocks through the window and treat his house poorly. When he is being interviewed by the cops are at his house and apparently he screams for the detective, but he has these moments where he calls it goes away. And when he comes back, the detective's like, you were calling for me and yelling about the Green Boys. And he's like, oh, I made something up about Green Boys when I was little. I must have just been talking about that, but I don't know what you're talking about. Right? Like instantly you have these weird vibes about Ted. He insists that he's innocent though. And they do confirm that he is seen outside of a 7-Eleven from the cameras for the 7-Eleven all day asking for candy. He every morning has this ritual of like going out and checking and watching birds come into his yard. He sets food out for them. He makes sure there's plenty of water because especially during this time of year, it's very hot. He goes and he looks out his window to see the birds, but it's eerily quiet. He realizes there's a bunch of birds on the ground just kind of twitching and they are stuck in glue traps in his yard.
So this is happening and I'm so confused as it's going. I'm like, what? I don't understand what is going on right now.
Yeah, it was just weird.
Why are these dead birds everywhere?
What does this have to do with the story?
I thought he killed them.
Yes.
Like my initial thought was that he killed them and then in his like blackout, like he
doesn't
or they're
remember.
not even like completely dead. They're just struggling. They're alive.
Some of them
on
are,
the glue trap.
Some of them are dead because they've slowly died. And then some of them are not. And then he tries to save one and he peels off the glue trap, but it peels off their feathers too. And so like it's a really morbid,
weird,
but then he like
he
gases them.
Gas chamber. He's like, because he sees that a lot of them are suffering. I can't save them. He's trying to clean them, but it's just making them either gluey, sticky, and sticking together.
And he's panicking that his daughter's going to come in and see the birds suffering or like dying. Doesn't want her to see that.
He decides that he's going to try and kill them quickly, and he creates a gas chamber, which he saw on TV how to do, and he suffocates them in this like homemade gas chamber. He also doesn't look away. Like he doesn't put them in this gas chamber and like, I can't watch. He decides he has to watch because, quote, death deserves a witness. Outside, he's cleaning up this mess, his orange-haired neighbor notices he's not wearing shoes. He loses time again, and when he comes to, he's got the Chihuahua woman is by him. And
this is all how we don't know people's names. This is just how he describes them.
He talks about how he doesn't remember people's names, but he has ways of remembering who they are.
Yeah.
And Chihuahua woman is someone who he grew up with. Really, she was friends with his mom. He's walking outside. He comes to, and she's like, "Oh goodness, Ted, are you okay? You poor thing. You're not wearing any shoes." And I guess he's got bloody feet.
At this point, I'm trying to figure out how old is Ted in this part of the story.
He gave me like 40-year-old vibes.
I was older than I thought.
Oh, really? I don't know what I thought. I just knew he wasn't a child.
Yes.
However, I felt like he was a child.
Yes. And so he talks about here, he realizes his feet are bleeding and something happened to him, but he doesn't feel the pain.
Yeah,
obviously
like,
something's,
how do you
again,
not
obviously
feel your
something
feet?
is happening to him.
Your feet are bleeding, you're leaving a trail. You don't know.
Yeah. So then he goes home and he cleans his feet with floor cleaner, which only makes it worse. But again, he can't feel pain in them. He tries to list possible suspects for the bird murderer, but he's only listing Chihuahua lady and red-haired man or whatever. Then he ends up adding his own name to the list.
Because he's not even sure if he did it.
Right, because he's black.
He makes a comment like, "Oh, I lose time so frequently. What if I never come back? What would happen to Lauren Olivia?" You find out Lauren is his daughter and Olivia is his cat. He talks about, talking to his bug man and how the bug man can't know the real him or know about Lauren. He doesn't want to tell him about his daughter, which I thought was strange. Then when Olivia starts talking in the second chapter, I was like, this is real? Are we really getting chapters and perspectives from the cat?
Yes. And then I'm thinking to myself, wait, is this a cat that I'm?
Yes.
Because they don't tell you
like,
really
I know that
at
you
first.
said, but then she starts doing things like meowing.
Yes. Or like licking her fur. And you're
checking out the other cat across the street.
And I'm like,
A
wait,
sexy tabby.
this is a cat.
She's a homosexual cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who loves Jesus.
She does.
She's a Bible reading cat. So
Bible of truth. Like slaps it down to get an answer.
he finds his mom's recorder. He starts recording recipes. These recipes
Foul,
are
fucking weird recipes.
what
Yes.
is this guy eating? He talks
Also,
about
it's a lot of peanut butter.
But most of what he's doing cheese, banana, and honey. When I made a note, like, what is this guy eating? It sounds disgusting. It's the best snack and goes really well with beer. And he's talking about pickles covered in peanut butter.
Which is a weird thing.
Discovers he doesn't like the sound of his voice, so he's like, I'm not going to listen back to it. I'm just going to record. He ends up locking his cat in her crate before his daughter Lauren visits. They can't be in the same room together. Lauren is mischievous, a little bit crazy.
Lauren gives me trapped girl vibes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I had a theory on Lauren.
Yes.
Same.
Yes, same. And the way she's reacted, so at sometimes she calls him dad, but sometimes she calls him Ted. She ends up scratching Ted's face, and then he sends her to nap using a conditioned record. There's a lot that's weird about their relationship right off the bat.
And she doesn't go outside, so you don't know where she is.
But he
Yeah,
says,
they don't
he
say.
even says like, okay, bye, I'll see you next week. But there's no mention of where she went.
Right, or who's picking her up, or whatever, where she's going.
Is
Yes.
she in the house? Is she not in the house? Is she's
gone?
leaving? Did she leave to another location?
Yeah.
You don't know. You
Yeah.
just know that this music is on and now she's leaving.
And he plays it on a loop all the time.
All the time.
Even when Lauren's not there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even Olivia makes a comment. It's kind of annoying.
She's actually kind of funny.
Olivia might be my favorite character. Ted does worry about Lauren becoming difficult and losing track of himself. He wonders if she, like Olivia, can eventually accept captivity, because when he found Olivia, she tried to escape out the front door all the time. And now he's trained her to be okay with the captivity. Can Lauren eventually get to that same place?
Yes.
Oh,
Again.
and the house has boarded up windows, so
Which
there's
started because the rocks were being thrown.
right, but they don't get a whole lot of light.
So it's like dark and dingy.
Yes.
And just, I pictured like a abandoned home.
I pictured like a hoarder's house,
Yes.
but with not as much shit as a hoarder.
But he also has like this notebook where he's taking care of the stuff in the house. He's
Yeah.
trying to track all the things.
And he's
that-
like reboarding up the
like,
windows.
meticulously.
Yeah.
And he's making sure that they have all the right nails. And
Yes.
so he's taking care of this decrepit home.
as best as he can, but maybe there's something off about it
But
still.
because you're
Yeah.
a child, you don't know how to do it. It's that's what
yeah,
I'm like.
he's
but
taking care of it like a child would.
Yes.
like trying to do his best, but cannot
do it.
So Olivia Olivia, Ted's black cat, which when we first hear from Olivia, my reaction was, wait, we're getting the cat's perspective? It was so strange to me, but we do. She starts recording her thoughts on the tape recorder as well. Olivia is there to comfort Ted. She believes it's her purpose, that God gave her this purpose, that he found her after being born. She remembers being born. She remembers her mom. She remembers being muddy. Her brothers or sisters died during birth. So mom had to leave, and then mom died, and then in came Ted and saved her. But at first it's like she's unsure about it. Then she sees this golden cord that connects their hearts together. And so now she knows where he is at all times because she could just follow this gold cord. So she truly believes that she was there to help him. But Olivia dislikes things in the living room. The Russian doll, a photo of Ted's parents, but she's glad Lauren isn't home. She doesn't like the little Teds, she calls them, because she's a cat.
Oh yeah, any human is a Ted.
Yeah.
Yes. Olivia eagerly waits for the tabby cat's daily visit. She can tell because of the holes in those boards, they let light in. And when the certain circles hit the spot on the wall, she knows it's tabby cat time. So she goes down to the one hole that she can see out of, watches for the tabby cat. She consults the Bible by knocking it off the table and finds a comforting passage, but has a bad feeling still. She also talks about some of the things that Ted and her have in common. They both really like the orange rug. I don't have a great memory, and so I was tripping out. Like, oh, it's a blue rug. Oh, it's an orange rug. And then I was at one point, I'm like, is it blue or is it me? Maybe I just didn't remember that it was a blue rug. And I swear it was orange a second ago, though. Yeah. And then at one point I had to look on my, because I'm e-reading it, I just searched the color blue, and it was like blue rug, blue rug. So it is blue. And then I searched orange, and it was like orange rug, orange rug, orange rug. And I was like, it's blue and orange? What color is it? It does play a really big part of it. And I think re-listening to the book, he created a place to escape in his mind.
But you don't pick up on that until way later.
Down. Got it. I didn't realize it was a fake room.
Yeah, when he's in that fake place in his mind, it's an orange rug because he likes it. It brings him comfort. But when he's in the real world, it's a blue rug.
And I didn't pick up on that until right now.
She is very religious. She knocks the Bible off the table. The whole house shakes, and she finds a passage that comforts her. Okay, so we're back at Ted. And Ted records a memory from his childhood about a day at the lake and his mother disapproving of pets. He asked for a cat. She says, no, it's torture to keep a cat. They go to the lake, and when they're at the lake, there's like a little market or something, and one of the vendors has this little wooden cat keychain, and Ted wants it. They say no. During this trip to the lake too, I think there's again a little bit of hint that mom's maybe something's weird with mom.
I thought something was weird with dad.
Both, right? Because he talks about, oh, dad's playing that game again where he pretends to trip over his shoelaces.
Right. She seemed like she was just like she was stressed out, like trying to keep it together. So she was super strict. I mean, yes, the weird part about the forest, something's wrong.
The forest, and then they're trying to save money, so she's feeding her family baby food. They all have to eat out of baby food jars. Ted's embarrassed because they look over and his dad is eating like the rice pudding out of a baby jar, and looks over and sees an infant also eating the rice pudding, and he's really ashamed and embarrassed.
And the mom's like, it has all the nutrition that you need. Eat this. It's cheaper.
Yes. So because when he's at the lake, he talks about his dad drinking from a coffee cup, and then he falls asleep.
Yeah, he starts getting more and more.
He's recording this memory about the lake. His mom ends up going for a walk while dad takes a nap, a drunken nap, and then she comes back with the wooden cat keychain, and he decides to name it Olivia. So it's pretty clear that Ted's father is an alcoholic. Like I said, he talks about his dad playing his favorite game and being funny and pretending to trip over his own shoelaces, but he's clearly just stumbling. And so Ted doesn't realize that he's an alcoholic. That night, as they're driving home, his mother stops the car and they go into the woods, and she forces Ted to leave the wooden cat behind. And he is heartbroken. It's the only nice thing he's gotten, and he loves this thing. And she teaches him a lesson basically that you can't love these things, or
like everything
go away.
Everything goes away. So this is how you prepare for life.
Yes. And so he's bawling his eyes out and decides he's going to stop asking for a cat now because he's afraid she's going to make him leave the cat in the woods, or the cat's going to die, or whatever. It's just going to go away. Ted stops recording because he's overwhelmed by the emotions. He doesn't like the way he's feeling. Then we start to hear from Dee. Dee is Dee Walters. She is older now, but she recalls the summer vacation when her younger sister Lulu disappeared. Lulu is Popsicle Girl. Their strict parents allowed Dee a short time alone, but she ignored Lulu, who wanted to show her a pebble. They play some games together, but clearly, I think they're like 10 years apart or something. They have a good age. So she's telling you the story about how she's kind of ignoring Lulu, and Lulu Lulu wants to play, but she convinces her to go somewhere else. And she starts flirting with this boy.
Like to
and
go
then
play in the water.
Yeah.
Oh no, so in her story, she is walking to the water and her mom's like yelling at her to take Lulu with you.
Oh yeah, and she doesn't.
She ignores them, like, I can't hear you, I'm too far away, and just keeps walking.
Yes.
Yeah, but then she comes across this boy. She starts flirting with him. She realizes she started her period. She goes into the bathroom to try to clean up and decides she's going to walk into the lake. When she goes into the lake, she's standing there and she sees all these freaking rattlesnakes in the water, all coming towards her. Oh, this is such a creepy thing. Like, why are people in this lake?
It just felt
I
like
didn't know rattlesnakes could swim.
I don't know if they were rattlesnakes, but they are snakes.
But yes, but I didn't. I mean, I know there are swimming snakes, but ugh.
And there was like a lot of them, like a whole family of them swimming around her. And she can feel them going around her legs in the water. And she's just trying to stand totally still so it doesn't bite her. She returned to her family thinking, my family must be worried for me. I've been standing in this lake forever. No one knows. And so when she returns, she finds out that Lulu is missing. They didn't even realize she was gone. And the family stayed in Washington for months searching for Lulu. Their mother left soon after, and their father later died of a stroke. So for 11 years, Dee has searched for Lulu's abductor, driven by guilt because she pretended she didn't hear. The detective, Karen, who once supported her, now wants Dee to move on. She knows that it's been a long time.
Likely Lulu is no longer alive.
Yes.
There's no new leads. There's nothing, like, move on with your life.
Yeah. Back to Ted. While Lauren is gone, Ted is browsing a dating site. He feels like he wants to get a woman to have in Lauren's life, but he's unable to imagine intimacy. Actually, I want to say, so my theory was that he was like a sociopath, right? That he had no feelings.
I think I tell you at this point that I think he's a serial killer. Is my first
and that
theory.
because he keeps disappearing, maybe he doesn't remember killing the popsicle girl or
and he's a
taking
serial
her.
killer, and he's got multiple murders and kidnappings under his belt, and that's what I think he is currently at this part of the book.
I thought he was a sociopath and that he was a kidnapper, but I thought he was a drunk, and that's where the blackouts came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he would drink
Playing
himself
off of his dad's alcoholism.
Yeah, I thought he was an alcoholic, and that's where he would go. He would get drunk and pass out.
So he starts feeling self-conscious while he's on this dating app because he's overweight and he's got bald patches because Lauren is pulling out his hair. He hears his mother's voice telling him to move them and not let anyone find out what he is. He also refers to these things that he has to move as gods.
It took me a long time to figure out what those were.
I mean, I barely even know now, but
Same.
He's feeling sad and scared. He drinks a beer. He returns from the woods later injured and records a message about tripping, but he feels no pain and he's struggling to think clearly. He's an alcoholic. He's drunk. He's stumbling. We
don't freaking know what he is.
These are all things that you're kind of
as fuck.
Yeah, right, seriously. Now we're back to Olivia's perspective. She watches Ted return home, injured and coughing blood. She licks up the blood.
Knowing what we now,
yes.
I thought about that so hard. As soon as I figured out what was going on, I was like, because there's so many times that happens.
Yes. So she licks up the blood and she waits at the peephole again for the tabby cat. Olivia sees the tabby cat with a white tomcat, but is relieved when the tabby rejects him. She recalls nearly being attacked by a dog after trying to go outside when Ted had the door open. She tried to get out before she was officially captured by Ted, or she is happy. She's a happy house cat.
Yeah, before she accepted her captivity.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So she tries to get outside one time and the dog runs after her and tries to attack her. And she remembers, which again, another instance where when you find out everything, what was actually happening here?
Yes, I thought about that so many times. Like, okay, now that I know what's happening, I'm trying to visualize the book. We'll get into the spoiler at the end. But
I love that we're not telling our listeners.
I know, because they need to hear this as we felt it.
This is freaking weird, you guys.
It's so weird. Oh, man.
Ted again saves her, and she felt the presence of God, who looks like everything and everyone. She truly believes her purpose is to help Ted. I think at that moment when he saved her, she truly locks into that purpose.
And she really does love him.
We're back at Dee. She meets a wealthy man who has a photograph of a suspect. The man hints he knows about the incident where Dee wrongly confronted someone she suspected. In exchange for the photo, he forces her to view the disturbing true crime museum, enjoying her reaction.
This part was so weird.
F. Yes.
I don't remember that at all.
He was like this eccentric millionaire who has this almost like a basement that he turned into a museum of all the fucked up stuff that has happened, like true crime. And it's like mementos mementos or newspaper articles, but he like goes out of his way to collect this weird shit.
Like photo is of Ted that he ends up giving her, but remember they weren't supposed to post it, so they removed a lot of. They got in trouble for posting that picture of Ted because it made him look like a suspect and the only suspect, but he wasn't the only suspect. So
I must have blocked it out because it's traumatic.
It was such a small part, but it was so fucking weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
So he forces her to view these disturbing true crime museum that's in his house that he created and enjoys her reaction. The photo that he gives her in trade for doing this reveals Ted's full name and the Needless Street sign. And she recalls her father turning around on Needless Street because it's such a strange name for a street. So she believes she's truly found Lulu's abductor.
So then we jump into the next batch of chaos.
Shumpies.
And we're back into Ted, and he visits his psychiatrist, who he calls the Bug Man, but avoids discussing real issues. He lies about his injured arm, claiming that he shut it in a car door. He thinks that Olivia might be gay because she loves the female tabby cat.
She's like, how?
He's like, my cat. I think my cat's gay.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, but let's get to you.
Yeah, let's talk about you. He like rambles on about all this stuff and he makes up things. So the Bugman brings up Lauren and Ted deflects, tuning him out. Lauren, paranoid about Ted abandoning her, fights him. She bites him. So she's asking to go camping. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll take you camping.
He finally like gives in because at first he's like, no.
He's going to make it the worst possible camping experience so
that she'll never wanna do it
asks
again.
to go outside again.
Yes.
And he's like, I have to do this.
He's such a good dad.
Yes. And then you're thinking about like, man, you're trying to keep your kid inside. Like
There's a lot.
Abductor
There's so
vibes.
much wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, where you're like, this girl is abducted. Clearly,
Yes,
he doesn't want her
clearly.
out in the world.
Yes.
So he in the forest behind the house, and she admits that she's struggling with life. Like this is part of the reason not wanting to live anymore. And this is why he takes her. He leads her to a fire ant nest, and this is where he has her sit, and they start camping. And the ants obviously crawl out, and start biting her all over. And he's like, oh, it's a painful lesson she has to learn.
Yes. Like now she'll
Why
never
his
want to
mom?
go camping again.
It's kind of like his mom.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
run inside the house, and he's like, I'm so sorry. This is why we shouldn't do what you want ever.
And I think she even says like, oh, I'm so
Yeah, I
sorry.
don't
Like
want
I
to
don't
do
want to
that
do that
again.
ever again.
Yeah.
Like I'll never ask to do it again.
But then he goes home and he grabs poison from under the sink and he goes back up to the fire ant nest and he poisons them and prepares his house against intruders because people are coming for him.
Paranoia.
Then Dee moves in across the street.
I think it's
next-
across
It's been
the
a
street.
house that's been vacant for
Ever.
years and years and years.
And
Like,
it doesn't even feel like she purchased or got permission.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like she just is a squatter is what it felt like.
because
thought
she
she
never
leased
really
it.
moves into it. Yeah, I think she does. I thought she leased it, but she also never really fully moves
But
into
it's got
it.
just like shit in it already.
Yes.
Like it just was odd. But she moves in and Ted's like, stranger danger. And he starts panicking. Then we jump to Olivia.
Funny, he's the stranger danger talking about it.
Right. Olivia is horrified when Ted lets Dee into the house. So she comes.
She stops by.
She does stop by. Like, I'm new to the neighborhood. And she brings
Yeah.
him some baked goods from the store.
Like cookies or something.
Yeah. Olivia's hiding under the bed, listening jealously to their conversation. And as revenge, she opens the freezer door, spoiling all of the food. So then it jumps back to Dee, and she steps on Ted's broken ornaments when approaching his house. There's broken scraps of ornaments on the steps leading up to the front door.
Like Christmas ornaments?
Yeah. She offers Ted a pumpkin pie and asks to use his bathroom. Feeling uneasy inside, and he doesn't want to let her in.
No.
She's like, I just gotta pee. I'm new here. I'm your neighbor. Let me in.
I'd be like, go to your house and pee.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing over here? Feeling uneasy inside his chaotic home, she notices his chest freezer and sees a yellow blanket with blue butterflies inside. So back home, she has a panic attack and later reads Wuthering Heights. Then she hallucinates seeing a ghostly child, but it's just a stray cat. And for some reason, the cat got into her house.
Yeah. Because maybe she's living in a boarded up home too.
Who knows at this point? She watches Ted from her window for 2 days. She hears a child's voice saying they don't want to do algebra, and it sounds like Lulu. So she's like, my sister's in there. But what's crazy is it's been 11 years.
11 years.
Why would your child's sister have the same voice? Jumping back to Ted, because we're chaos. Lauren is struggling with her algebra and makes Ted a bad spaghetti dinner. They both get food poisoning from the spoiled meat, and Lauren knows this as she's making the dinner. This is gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. But
Yeah.
she
She can
eats it
see
too.
that it's spoiled meat. Yes.
She sees like maggot crawling in the meat.
Oh,
and,
it's so
But I think she
gross.
does it on purpose. Like, okay, I'm going to poison you and poison myself.
and we'll both be dead. So Ted suspects that Lauren intentionally poisoned them, which ding, ding, ding. And then he goes back and checks his bird murderer list and sees that Lauren has added her name with a pink marker. She loves the pink marker. It's her fave. Ted dismisses his suspicion that Lauren is the bird killer. And at therapy, he asks about a hypothetical girl with a violent mother. So he starts making up to
Like, I'm watching this show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about this therapist, Bugman therapist.
Yeah.
Why
I
would they
wanna
do
know.
that?
Watching this show, why would that happen?
The Bugman talks about trauma and memory, unsettling Ted. The Bugman is not a real psychologist. He has his own agenda of like selling his books and things. So every time Ted goes to him, he listens to him rattle on about a TV show or some other bullshit that has no meaning. And then he starts talking to him about pieces of his book.
Yeah.
And that's what Ted cuts out.
But I think he
because
is
it's
a
not
real
what I'm here
therapist.
for.
He's just like,
But also,
not a
isn't
good
he
one.
also
he doesn't
an
though.
alcoholic?
He's discredited. He doesn't have his license anymore.
because
We find out
isn't
later.
he-
Ted sees missing persons flyers for the Chihuahua lady. This whole street is like, it should be an insane asylum, this whole block. Like, this
Maybe
is
it
an
is.
HOA for the insane.
this is the HOA.
So back into
Get
Olivia.
paid in Xanax.
She's starving and she lets her alter ego out, which is nighttime. Nighttime
yeah,
takes
it's like a
over and
shadow.
hunts. I just pictured it as like Olivia is a nice little house cat. And when she has to hunt for food, that's when she's
She
nighttime.
has to like
Like her Sasha
I can't
Fierce.
pay attention. Yes.
Yes,
It's her
nighttime
alter
is her
ego.
Sasa Fierce, and she eats mice. So she wakes up, retching over bloody bones, unsure what she ate. She hears noises in the attic and fears the ghosts and hides in her crate. Then it jumps back to Ted. So Ted plans a date, but panics about his appearance again. He pawns a family picture frame to buy new clothes, and he goes to the bar, but he used a fake photo on his dating profile, and he watches the woman leave and follows her into the parking
This
lot.
is where I
He's-
thought,
he's
okay,
for sure a
he's
killer.
about to kidnap his next person.
Right.
Because there's like a good amount of time spent in this chapter where he talks about watching her and sitting and how
And
he
he's
told her
getting
to wear
more-
the blue polka dot dress.
Yes.
And he would wear blue so that they could
And his
see
mom
each
at the
other.
lake was wearing this blue.
Yeah, so I thought like he's
dress.
got mom issues
Yes.
and that's who he are his like targets.
Yes.
That's where I'm at. My theory is at this point.
Right. Which everything kind of leads you to believe that that's true.
Yeah.
Yes. So he gets drunk and is chasing after her, but doesn't quite get to her. And she gets in her car and speeds off. So then Dee is our narrator, and Ted invites Dee out for drinks via a note in a jar.
So romantic.
Cute. She agrees only to gain access to his house while he leaves. So she's like, yeah, I'll meet you there. She's doing the same
She's like,
shit
a
that
note?
he just did
Yeah.
to the Tinder girl.
And it truly is a taste of his own medicine. He hates it.
Right.
Yeah.
So after
Oh yeah,
Ted
she stood him up.
Yeah, after Ted leaves, Dee breaks into his house through the rusted window. She finds blood-stained sheets and a unicorn drawing in the bedroom. She hammers the window shut with new nails when leaving. Very important. So convinced Lulu is at Ted's weekend place.
Because he tells her, I think at one time that he's interacting with her that he has a daughter, but she's at the weekend place.
Back into Olivia, she hears a high-pitched noise on her recording. Ted comes home drunk and cruelly hacks off chunks of her fur.
I was so sad reading this.
Why are you torturing this
Why
poor
are
cat?
you torturing this little cat
who loves Jesus?
and
GD?
only wants to protect
GD.
you?
So as her revenge, she destroys his bourbon, the nesting dolls, and urinates in his shoes.
Such a cat thing.
Which is, but again, if you know how it is.
Then you start picturing it.
Yes. So back into Ted, he regains awareness in the kitchen holding a knife, and he realizes he has lost 3 days and consumed all the food and drink in his house. He notices the smashed whiskey bottle and broken nesting dolls. He finds a child's white sandal under the fridge. Now, when Lulu went missing, she was wearing white sandals.
Dun dun dun.
It starts triggering bad memories. And then Ted hears the attic Green Boys. He starts weeping and yelling at them to stop. He buries the knife in the yard instead of returning it to the cupboard because he's trying to keep Lauren safe.
It's too sharp for her.
Yeah. So then the
kill
last
herself with
Yeah,
it.
I was gonna say he knows that she'll try to hurt herself with it.
of my chumpies is Olivia. Ted is gone again, and Olivia seeks guidance from the Bible. So she basically just either drops it or pushes it off of a ledge. And then she reads the passage. Okay, she reads the passage.
Somebody stabbing himself.
About someone stabbing himself and doesn't understand its meaning. Olivia senses a male's presence at the front door. Overwhelmed, she forgives Ted for cutting her fur and decides to sleep.
So then we
GD.
get into chapters 20 through 30, and it starts with Ted's perspective, and he's watching TV with Olivia, and he's worried about her. I mean, I think she's like sitting on his lap, she's cuddling with him, he's petting her, it's a loving relationship, but he feels abandoned by Dee. He feels really hurt that she stood him up. He's kind of like sulking because he feels that Dee stood him up, and he's all hurt about it. And Lauren's been away at the weekend place for a while now, and he misses her. And heavy machinery arrives for new rest stops in the forest.
They're building rest stops along the trail.
Oh.
But he treats the forest forest like it's an extension of his property.
Because
like it's
next
part of
to
his
him. He's
backyard.
at the end. Yeah.
Yes. And he starts to panic about it and runs to check on his secret clearing because he's got like a space in the forest that he's
Where the gods are.
where the gods are, and there's like a specific tree, and he goes to that area, and that's where all this stuff is. So he's worried about it, and he runs to check on it. And that night, Ted digs up his gods. We put them in quotes because we don't know what they are yet, I don't think. It's including a blue dress and a vanity case. He finds a new hiding place in a remote birch grove, but he's exhausted, but relieved that the gods are safe. He finds a new tree.
I think there's also some,
he
like-
buries them somewhere.
But there's like some bones and stuff.
Yes.
Right, yeah,
There-
there's some human remains that he has to carry, and it's...
And moves them and puts them all with this new birch tree.
And they have to be separated and they have to be in certain areas.
yeah,
and-
certain ones have to be buried together, and
I think that it's just part of his blackout time that he doesn't remember that he's killed all these people and this is what it is, but he just knows they're important, so he puts them back. And then we get back to Dee. Now it's Dee's perspective, and as the construction work begins, a park ranger protests toxic paint use, painting the
Oh,
trees
yeah.
to like mark which ones they
Yes.
were going to take down, and they decide somebody's like protesting against it. Like
I think
you're-
it's the red-haired neighbor.
Yeah, it's like, you're using all these toxic fumes on our land. And so Ted runs into the forest, and Dee suspects he's moving Lulu. So she follows him at night, but is terrified of the snakes. And she hides behind a bulldozer and watches Ted dig up the gods. Overcome with fear, she flees back home. She's
Yeah, the
watches
snakes
him.
are this crippling fear, anxiety of hers.
Yes, that are not real. It's all in her head.
She
but-
feels like she feels them around her feet all the time, or she's, yeah.
She's in the forest, and they're coming out for
Yes.
her.
Yes. So then we go back to Ted, and he recalls an incident with Snowball, his class pet mouse. He secretly took Snowball home, and something happened to it. He enjoyed discovering a new part of himself.
We don't
Kills-
know, but it alludes that he killed it and his mom buries it.
When he's
I don't
back
know
at
if
school.
we ever know.
We don't.
No.
It's never super clear.
So feeling his mother's presence haunting him, he uses relaxation techniques from the Bugman and then sets up a fake dating profile. I don't think we know right here that why he feels his mom's presence. We just know she's not there.
It's weird. It's like the mom, like even when he looks at the photographs, he talks to her like she's a presence in the home.
Yes, but we don't know that she's not.
We don't know.
We don't know what happened
We
to
don't
her.
know if she moved away.
Or
we don't
where
know
she
where
went.
she is. She feels like a haunting presence in the home.
Yes.
Like she's in his mind always.
And so then we jump to Olivia, and Ted is gone for a day and night, and Olivia watches a realistic murder scene on TV. I think the TV's always going, and so
Yeah.
she's always watching it. And then and she comments on it, and then is like, oh, I don't like this. So she kind of walks away from it. And then she's starving, so she scavenges for food under the fridge. And while she's doing that, she finds a blood-stained child's sandal and thinks something happened to Lauren. Ted sees the sandal when he gets back, and he panics and locks Olivia in her crate. He's kind of mad at her, like almost like it's her fault. Like, why would you pull this out or whatever? And locks her in her crate to punish her. Olivia senses another presence in the crate with her while she's there. Ted, as a child, he was proud and protective of his mother. I feel like he had like a loving relationship with her generally. Like he loved her.
Loved the fuck
Yeah.
out of her,
Yes.
and she
Was
a
weird.
person.
She was a person.
But at that time, she was fired from her hospital job. I think she was a nurse, and they think she was possibly fired over some financial fraud. At some point, something happens, and he locks himself in the chest freezer to kind of get away from the bad stuff. But afterwards, his father leaves, and the house sort of deteriorates. So now it's just him and his mom. His mom's kind of busy doing whatever she's doing. And
She's
Ted's-
not working anymore.
No. And so Ted, a kid, and the house is really just kind of like going bad. It's falling apart. His mother believed that he had inherited a sickness for harming things, which really gave me like Halloween vibes, right? Because Michael Myers, I think at the beginning of his story, he like kills little animals and then progresses.
All kinds of serial. Like that's how you
That's-
spot a
that's how you-
sociopath.
yeah, that's how you start. You find a love for murdering things or having control over them, and then you kind of build and get stronger, right? Over bigger things. So she believes that he's inherited this sickness for harming things, and she led him to bury Snowball in the woods, calling it a god because he had killed the mouse. And she tells him that he needs to bury it in the woods, and they call the Snowball a god.
Which only starts to reinforce the idea that he's killed people and he's
Yes.
burying their remains or
Remains.
whatever in the woods and referring to them.
And
as
that's why
gods.
he had to move them, because they would dig up and see
Yes.
remains.
See
Yeah.
the gods.
Yeah.
But she tells him that he has this sickness and he'll probably do it again. So he has to hide his true nature. He he can't tell anybody that these are the things that he thinks about and wants to do. And it's almost like she's trying to protect him. And there's this
almost like Dexter dad vibes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But
So-
not after this next part.
Right, yeah.
So Ted was devastated when she admitted she no longer had to pretend to love him.
Which is so sad.
Like,
It's-
oh, now that I know you're broken, I can stop pretending to love you.
Yeah.
Now that I know you have a sickness, it's not really my job to
There's
love
a
you.
reason why I didn't love you.
Yes.
This is it.
Because Olivia broke the nesting dolls earlier out of anger. He attempts to fix them, but fails. Like he can't get it to work. And he feels too disheartened to record his recipe for his vinegar strawberry sandwich. So then now we go to Olivia's perspective, and Ted drunkenly removes Olivia from the crate. And she's been in there for a while, and she's pissed. So she scratches him and hides under the couch. Ted stumbles away, dropping a small white object from the cuff of his pants. Olivia investigates and finds a birch bark note from Lauren. The note has bloodstains and reads help, which now this is the second time that Lauren has left a help me note for somebody to find. So then we jump to Ted. Ted is drinking and he's panicking over an intruder in his house because he noticed that the nails were replaced on the boards. I don't know if it's 3 or 2 or however, but they're new nails, and he realizes it, and it confirms to him that somebody broke in. I don't know if he knows for sure if it's Dee, but I think he assumes that it might be because she's the only new person in the environment around him. And he believes that the intruder didn't see Olivia or Lauren, otherwise there would be consequences. So Ted sees the orange juice hair man outside and he kind of doesn't trust him and watches Dee's house while drinking bourbon in his yard. He's like sitting in the front yard.
I just imagined him standing out there with a bottle of bourbon, like drinking and staring at her house. Like,
Also,
how
there's-
terrifying.
I made a note because he talks about walking for 45 minutes to something, maybe in the woods or something. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the way that they describe his weight, I'm surprised he can walk so long. Because they really talk about him being overweight a
He's
lot.
like sauntering. He's just sluggishly walking through, dragging a toe. Then we jump to Dee. She has a nightmare about red birds weaving Lulu's hair into their nest. She's just obsessed about finding her sister, and it's overtaking all of her thoughts. She wakes up screaming. The tabby cat confronts her. It's like in her house. Suddenly, it's just
because it's
walking
not like
in and out of her home.
I think she's missing windows or something. Like
That's what I mean. I
creatures
feel like
can come into this.
Yeah, that's why it made me feel like she was a squatter.
Yeah.
I almost envisioned all the houses on Needless Street just being boarded up and like decrepit. Yes.
Maybe.
And she feeds the cat tuna and starts to feel sort of attached to it. She sees Ted staring at her house while drinking.
Which
so
is-
if you look out your window and then you just see a man, like a large man standing with a large bottle
That's
of bourbon.
freaking scary.
I would be creeped out.
I would be like, oh my gosh. But also, I just broke into his house.
Now you're paranoid
Yeah.
because you did that.
Yeah.
Detective Karen calls. Dee lies about her location. She doesn't tell her where she's at. And the detective warns her to be cautious and that she believes she saw Dee in a store. So now we flash to Ted. Ted recalls the last time he took Lauren in public, and it's to the mall for new clothes. A store employee becomes suspicious after Lauren left a distress message on a pair of tights. She like turned them inside out and she wrote inside the leggings, "Please help. Ted is a kidnapper. He calls me Lauren, but that's not my name."
And it's like
Ted-
spelt horribly.
the worker comes chasing after Ted and she's like, "Why would you do this? This isn't funny. Like, this isn't a joke." And Ted
She's like showing the paper that and what was written. I was
Yes.
so mad at that worker. I
Yes.
was like, what a stupid bitch. If this is true, you're just
just
gonna
outed her.
assume. Yeah. And now he's gonna take her home and beat her. Like, what are you doing, stupid worker?
Yes,
I
call
was
for help and
so
have somebody follow
mad.
them.
I
Yeah.
was so mad.
Yes, because I thought, why would you out this poor child?
Yes.
She's asking for help.
Because she runs out with the leggings. She was like, is this a joke?
Yes.
Are you guys joking?
But
Yeah.
you're confused. Like, I don't think any person in their right mind who saw that would run after them and say that.
No.
So it's a little confusing. But Ted convinces the worker that nothing's wrong and that he apologizes to her. He's like, "I'm so sorry. Like, well, that'll never happen again." And as punishment, he sends Lauren away for 6 months. Upon her return, he tightens control over her. He
And like,
finds-
where is he sending her away to?
we
We
still
don't know.
He's just sending her away. There's one mention, like Olivia talks about maybe Lauren is with Mama Ted. And I'm like, oh, does she know Mama Ted? Has she seen Mama Ted?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you never Or no, I don't know. Who knows?
They don't tell you anything. He finds his bird killer suspect list with mommy written on it. It's been mysteriously added because he doesn't remember doing that. And he thinks it's a cruel joke. He rips up the list and discards it. Then we get to Lauren. It's the first time she pops up, and she finds the recorder and records a plea for Ted's arrest and execution. She believes either she must kill Ted or he will kill her. Still, you think this has to be a captured woman.
Yeah, or child.
Or child. Well, child,
Or
but like
child woman.
adult. Yeah. So inspired by Ted's feelings diary, she leaves a recorded message and Ted enters before she can finish recording it. And that's the end of my chumpy.
So we go into chapters 31 to 41. It starts off with Olivia. She hears a high-pitched noise and then a voice. It's Lauren. Lauren's calling from the freezer. Lauren reveals Ted locks her in the chest freezer when she misbehaves, and sometimes for over a month. Lauren is not Ted's daughter. So Lauren's like divulging all this information
to Olivia
and telling her that she can hear her talk.
And Olivia's like, how can you understand me? I'm a cat.
Yeah.
And that Olivia is only one of many kittens that he's kept. And so they're having this whole conversation while Lauren's locked in the freezer. And again, confirmed, Lauren's being abused.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Ted abducted Lauren as a child, tricking her into thinking he was trying to keep her safe. When confined, Lauren was punished with boiling water and vinegar fumes. Lauren tells Olivia she has survived longer than others because she can endure more pain. She asks Olivia to help her escape.
Yeah, they think they talk about how the top of the chest has holes in it.
Yes. And he
pours it into the top of the chest, and it just
it's Olivia's
scalds her.
Olivia's crate,
Yes.
right? She likes to get into the freezer. So he makes it for her. When Lauren comes out, he puts Olivia in the freezer and locks her in there until Lauren's gone. But apparently, when Lauren's being punished, he puts her in there, and then it becomes so Olivia's all disgusted that this was my home and now it's a torture chamber for you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a GD torture chamber?
Yeah. So Lauren ends up telling her like she needs help. She wants Olivia to help her escape and get away from here. Back at Ted's perspective, he's mentally unraveling. He stands in front of the Chihuahua's lady's house because she's still missing at this point. He feels the need to resolve things with Lauren, and he believes he must prioritize his happiness and mentions he has a date the next day.
Crazy. Just all of a sudden, now I have a date. No big deal.
I'm trying to take care of myself. And again, you're like, this guy's an asshole. He's going to kill another woman. Days pass before Olivia can even speak to Lauren again. They plot Lauren's escape. Lauren instructs Olivia to get Ted to turn down the record player and knock the weights off the freezer lid. But also, she's a freaking cat. How's she knocking off weights? Those are heavy.
Well,
I think she tells her, like,
people
similarly
can't hear
to-
her scream because of the record player.
Yes, and I think Lauren tells Olivia, like, just like you knock the nesting
down.
dolls and you kick the Bible off the thing, like, that's how you're going to move these weights.
Yes. So Olivia feigns distress to get Ted's attention, and he comforts her and then falls asleep. Olivia successfully removes the weights, but the freezer's empty. Lauren's voice is now inside Olivia's head.
And then you have your first moment of
What the fuck?
I'm in this 200 pages now.
Yes.
What do you mean? It's in the cat's head.
Yes.
What
All
the hell
this
is
time.
happening?
Olivia momentarily sees herself in a human body, scratching inside the freezer.
Wild.
Lauren reveals Olivia was created when Ted broke Lauren's feet to prevent her escape.
And then I'm like, what?
Yes. Olivia is one of multiple personalities inhabiting their body, including the nighttime.
Yes.
Yes.
Lauren tries to make Olivia use their body to throw the cassette recording on the sidewalk, but Olivia drops it in the bushes.
And I think to myself right here that it's like, okay, this makes sense. She's a abducted child and has to find ways of coping with
Olivia
this
is-
awful situation that she's
Yes.
in. So she created this pretend
Yes.
cat to get
And
out
I'm imagining
of...
Ted
Petting a
letting
little girl, like thinking that when she's Olivia, she's crawling into his lap.
like he's totally okay with it. I'm a creep, and she's lived for, and now I'm like, it's definitely Lulu because she's lived for so long because it's his cat.
Now
Yeah.
she has all this trauma trauma response to
Yes.
it. And that's why she has this pretend mental
Yeah, she has
cat.
multiple personality disorder because of it.
Yes.
She's
Yes.
compartmentalizing.
And that's where my theory is right here.
Same.
But I still think Ted's a killer.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree.
So Olivia fears Lauren has lost the will to live. So for a moment, the orange living room rug changes to blue. When they said this, I was like, yes, thank you. I'm not Crazy. Back to Dee. Dee's watching Ted's house. She sees Olivia fail to send the cassette. Like she sees something come out of the mail slot.
Yes.
And she decides that once Ted leaves, she's going to go over and retrieve it. She does. She has to dig through the bushes and then she rushes home. We're back in Ted's mind. So Ted goes back to the psychiatrist. The bug man notices Ted's new scratches. Ted blames Olivia for it. Again, he can't talk about Lauren. Ted wants more pills, but the bug man insists he continue getting them informally.
Oh, because he wants a prescription. I need a higher dosage. And he's like, no, my man. I need to give these to you like I am. They're for
And
my
also-
special stash of pills.
Ted mentions at some point that some of the pills are for Lauren, right? Like he's got to pretend that I'm acting like this. This is happening to me so that I can get some
Meds for
something.
Lauren
Yes.
because she's the reason why he's going there.
Yes, she's now depressed and she wants to kill herself, and I need to get antidepressants or whatever to keep her alive. Ted brings up his fake TV show again to discreetly ask about Lauren's condition. The bug
Not
man,
discreetly.
yeah, right, yeah.
Nutty.
Seriously. The bugman explains that Lauren's symptoms resemble dissociative identity disorder, or DID. It's often caused by extreme abuse. Again, leaning into the thought that
Lauren's being abducted and abused.
Yes. DID allows children to mentally escape suffering by creating separate identities. The treatment typically involves either peaceful coexistence of personalities or integration into the primary personality.
Which is wild.
And that is a true thing. Like that
Yes,
is
I looked
real.
it up after because I was like, this
Yes.
is insane.
So they want to meet in a neutral space and like introduce the different personalities to each other. Ted sees integration as murder.
Oh, yeah, because you're basically killing off the other personalities.
The bugman offers to help, but is horrified when he sees Ted unconsciously stabbing a pin into his own hand. But Ted doesn't feel the pain. Yeah, that's disturbing. Ted takes a list of books about DID and quickly leaves. Back with Olivia, Lauren and Olivia agree they need a weapon, but the knife is missing. They practice making Olivia control their body because I think Olivia can be out.
I forget what the reason
why
is
can't
that Lauren can't control.
Well, she
the
doesn't have
body.
legs.
Well, she has legs, but they're like,
Broken.
yeah, like he snapped her ankles when she tried to run away once. So she has these disfigured, never healed correctly legs.
So she can't walk. So it's up to Olivia to get up, use them, and
Because
start
in that
using her. And she
personality,
can't-
she has functioning legs.
Yes. And she also can't use her hands. Like she can't pick things up because she's a cat.
Yeah.
Lauren uses stairs as a metaphor to help Olivia understand their fragmented identity. This part starts to get really weird.
It's
I didn't
super
understand
weird.
it.
I didn't understand it either. I was lost.
Yeah, Lauren becomes frustrated and accuses Olivia of not trying hard enough. She describes their body as deformed and disfigured from abuse. Lauren apologizes. Olivia is overwhelmed and retaliates by mentally locking Lauren in the freezer. Lauren screams, but Olivia ignores her.
It's almost like when she's coming down the stairs, mentally she's going into the reality. But when she's back up the stairs, that's when they're like in their mental place.
Yeah.
So she's explaining it to her like, when you get down there, you're in the real world. And when you come back up here, we can like, we're in it together. Like we're in our mind together and
when we're together, it's like the middle landing step.
Yes.
Yes, where you
Yes.
lay and take your naps. I
Yes.
think is what she says.
Yes, which I think ends up being kind of this pretend room a little bit too. Like when you're down there,
It's a wild ride. I'll tell you what.
that is.
It starts to get wild right here.
It gets even worse
More
than
wilder.
before. Like you never get this clear understanding of what the F I just read. Ted is at a bar and he's drinking at a roadside bar. He realizes the bar is a gay bar and wonders what his mother would think. In the bathroom, he hears an argument between two men. Ted finds the bugman on the floor assaulted. The attacker flees upon seeing Ted. They drink outside a gas station and the bugman presses Ted for the truth about Lauren and Olivia. The bugman is being accused of stealing something, and it does come out that this is when we start learning all the shit about Bugman.
Yeah.
So the Bugman proposes using Ted as a case study for his DID book. He asks if Lauren is Ted's first, quote, kitten. Ted snaps, crushing the Bugman's ribs in a bear hug. A gas station owner intervenes. Ted flees into the woods. He returns home, takes pills, and decides he must leave. He packs survival gear and digs up the knife. So Lauren warns Olivia that Ted is taking them into the woods to make them, quote, gods.
Which is kill them.
Yes, right.
And
Yes.
bury them.
Yes. Olivia is still angry with Lauren, but agrees to help her. She forces open the freezer door with her head, triggering Lauren's panicked screams. Olivia knocks over the Bible, seeking guidance, but finds no answers this time. She gathers her strength and she steps outside, which shifts her into Lauren's body. Now, Lauren's perspective, Olivia experiences Ted carrying them into the woods. Ted makes camp deep in the forest.
It's like he's carrying them in like a backpack or
Yeah.
Or
something.
like a sack.
Yes.
It's
It's like-
so weird.
and
Like,
like,
how
it's
does
not
this
even-
girl fit in the bag?
Yes. Lauren insists Olivia Olivia must take the knife and kill Ted. That's the only way out of it, is if you kill Ted and then we can get away. Olivia hesitates though, but Lauren convinces her it will free them all, including Ted. Like this could be helpful for Ted. Nighttime roars to take over, but Olivia suppresses him.
Like, I'll kill him.
Yeah. Ted mutters about his mother before falling asleep, and then Olivia stabs Ted in the stomach. Both Olivia and Lauren inexplicably feel the pain and find themselves bleeding, unable to move.
And then you're like, what
the
is
hell?
happening?
Yes, Dee is in the forest. So now we're looking at Dee's perspective, and she's
following them.
Yes, she's following them. She listens to Lauren's recording. She's listening to Lauren's recording, and she sees him leave. She recognizes Lulu's voice. She sees Ted dig up the knife and leave with a moving bag. Instead of calling Detective Karen, she gathers supplies and she follows Ted. Overwhelmed by her snake phobia, though, she trips and falls in front of a rattlesnake, a real one. She ends up killing it with her hammer, but is bitten post-mortem.
Which I didn't understand how that happens. The snake is dead.
Yeah,
like,
how is
does
it biting
it bite
you when it's dead?
Like, it's like,
Like, did you put your body next to it? Like, oh yeah, it's really dead. Let me solidify my non-fear. And it's like, gotcha, bitch.
So she starts hallucinating from venom, but she presses on. She's marking trees as she goes. She finds Ted's campsite and follows a trail of blood to him. Ted is alive with the knife in his stomach. Dee believes Lulu escaped and is disappointed. She wanted to kill Ted herself.
She still believes that he took Lulu.
Yes.
She's
So
after him.
This is probably the most infuriating part of the story is
Yes.
Dee's story, actually. Ted offers her a snake bite kit. He has one in his backpack, but Dee refuses, calling him a monster and asks where Lulu is. Ted sobs in confusion. Suddenly he speaks in a little girl's voice. It's Lauren. Lauren tells Dee that Ted is not a monster, though she must kill him. Dee thinks she is hallucinating. She uses a snake bite kit on herself and continues searching for Lulu. She leaves Ted to
I
die
just
in
want
the
to say,
forest.
the way it's written though,
Is-
it made it sound like a little girl was in front of her,
Yes.
talking.
Like it's a
It really
little
took
girl's
some
voice.
soul searching to write these damn summaries. I tell you that. It's fucking weird.
Yes, it's like she hears the little girl's voice, and when she turns around,
There's nobody there.
It's freaking no, it's Ted.
That's what I mean. No, there's
Yeah,
no girl
little
there.
girl there. Yes,
Yes.
yeah. So then Olivia is devastated, realizing that she, Lauren, and Ted are all a part of the same being.
They are one
They
freaking
are
person.
one person.
They are Ted.
Like when it happened, I was like, wait, what?
Yes, because at
again-
first I'm like, Lauren is the cat. Wow, that's a huge plot twist.
Yes.
Then you get to this and you're like, holy
What?
hell,
Shit. Yes.
they are all Ted.
They're all Ted.
Mind
He's
blown.
pulling out his own hair. He's
Yes.
freaking
Peeing in his own shoes, rotting his own food, and then cooking it to kill himself.
Oh man! And you know what's crazy is, which we could get into later, but she's basing this off of people that she interviewed and studied, and this is a real freaking thing.
Yes, she
It's
did. They talk about it
wild.
at the
Yes.
end. Yeah.
So Lauren explains that she takes Ted's physical pain while Olivia carries his emotional pain. When Ted was younger, he created Lauren because his mom would
Abuse
hurt
him.
him. And so Lauren would take that, which is why he can't feel when his bloody feet are torn up and he's using freaking floor cleaner to fix himself. He can't feel that pain because Lauren feels it all. So when he's having a panic attack, here comes Olivia to take it all from him. Olivia sees an invisible cord connecting them all, and she hears a dog barking. Ted fades in and out of consciousness, but someone administers emergency aid. He hears a dog whine, and then everything goes dark.
And the last mind-boggling chump. So the last part of the chumps, we're back in Olivia's mind. She is back in the house, feeling like she's dying. The walls are collapsing around her. She finds Nighttime is injured. She convinces Nighttime to take her to his place, which is empty and dark, and Nighttime resists going deeper, but Olivia persuades him that it's safer. This part was blowing my mind because I'm like, where the fuck are they?
Yeah.
Where are they going deeper and deeper into?
Yeah.
I was so
Into
confused.
Ted's mind, right?
I was imagining like they're going into the basement or the
Yes,
attic, but it's collapsing on them. So if you keep going down, you're getting buried. Like, where are
Yes.
you going, Olivia? So they descend and are crushed under immense pressure. They struggle towards a light in the void and merge into one. They spread through Ted's body, trying to wake up, and a red-haired man presses down on Ted's wounds as his body starts coming back to life. They were dying. Ted was dying.
Yes.
Yes.
So the red-haired man, orange juice man, is reviving him.
Yes. And so essentially, so were Olivia and so were Nighttime.
And I think we've already discovered there is the real life living room and the pretend living room,
That-
which is why that rug changes
Right.
colors.
Which I realized once we were here doing the summary.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize it was 2 places.
So I think in this moment, she's in Ted's head running into the pretend,
Blue room.
the mind.
Down
rug.
the stairs into the pretend living room
Yes.
Got it.
That Ted has created. Yes.
So then we jump back to Dee, and she's runs as the sun rises, ignoring her rattlesnake bite. She questions if she is a murderer because she left Ted to die, and recalls Detective Karen's warning about telling the truth. And she remembers the day Lulu disappeared. So this is...
Now you hear
Now
the
we
truth.
learn the actual true story of what happened the day that Lulu's disappearance. And it really, like, she's been on this rampage. She feels guilty.
Yes.
So Dee was flirting with the boy Trevor while Lulu followed her. So they go toward the forest, even though Lulu wants to go back. So in reality, she didn't just leave Lulu with her parents. She's with her. Mm-hmm. So she's threatening Lulu, telling her to go play by the water's edge. She's trying to get felt up by this boy.
Yes.
So Dee's kissing Trevor when they hear a sound. Then they find Lulu unconscious in the water and her skull dented. So she's tripped, hit her head on a rock.
There's blood everywhere.
Yeah, she's dying. Seeing a snake emerge from Lulu's body, Dee flees in fear, and she returns to find Lulu gone with an adult footprint in the mud and the sound of a car driving away. Hiding evidence, she washes her shorts and plants Lulu's sandal in a woman's bag.
Because she didn't want anybody to know that Lulu went missing.
She didn't want to know that she had
was-
anything to do with it.
So she was trying to hide the evidence.
That she was
Yeah,
kissing
it
a
was-
boy
Yes.
and left her sister alone, and she fell and hit her head, and then somebody stole her.
And then
Yes.
when she goes back, it's because she's like, I actually don't know if she was dead. There was just so much blood. She could still be alive. And so she runs back to find her, and she's missing.
Yeah.
Which is why she continues to look for her.
Yes.
Right.
Now she feels guilty. She left her and came back, and now
She
she's
believes she was alive and someone took her because she was
Yes.
weak and vulnerable.
gone.
Yes. In the present, Dee hallucinates Lulu and chases her deeper into the forest. So she's getting delusional because she heard the little girl's voice and she's got this snake venom going through her and
Yeah.
she's running, so her blood is pulsating this snake
Yes.
venom around. So she recalls staking out Ted's house and placing glue traps on the bird feeders to punish him. She apologizes to Lulu before dying alone in the forest, becoming part of it. She
was like,
succumbs to her snake bite injuries and just
In the
dies
forest.
in the forest.
All of this so that she could just die.
Also, like, girl, it's been 11 years you've been lying to yourself.
So back into Ted, he wakes up in the hospital, found by Forest Ranger Rob, who is Orange Juice Man. He learns his old medication caused hallucinations, memory loss, and weight gain. The doctor reveals signs of severe past abuse and suggests therapy. So Bugman was giving him expired medication that was causing a lot of his
Issues.
problems.
Yeah.
Rob cares for Ted, bringing him
I've read that so many
essentials.
times. Okay.
Ted begins feeling calmer with new medication, and Rob suspects Ted's story. Oh, because his story is that he slipped and fell on the knife. And he's like, that's not what
Yeah.
happened, my man. You
Let's
tried
be
to kill
honest here.
yourself. Then Lauren has a flashback. Ted's mother used to abuse him, performing home surgeries on him. So Lauren emerges as a protective altar, enduring the pain for Ted. One night, Miss Bannerman, which is Ted's mom, punishes Ted by putting him in the freezer. Ted locks himself away inside of his mind, letting Lauren take the suffering. Jump back to Ted. Ted finds himself inside his mental world, a version of his house. Olivia greets him. Nighttime lingers in the dark. Little Teddy lives with him, sometimes taking control. Then there's a flashback. Little Teddy chased a woman to return her scarf and is misunderstood as an aggressor. Then we're back into Lauren's perspective. She's left alone to endure Mrs. Bannerman's abuse. Ted retreats into his own mental world, leaving Lauren behind. Nighttime kills Ted's pet mouse, Snowball. Miss Bannerman manipulates Ted into believing he has a sickness like his grandfather, which really the mother did.
Yeah.
Ted creates the weakened place in his mind, filling it with broken things from his real life. Lauren locked away when Olivia's around, bitter and self-destructive. Back into Ted.
There was another house, though.
In
Yeah.
the hair head.
You know, at this point, I don't know where or what. It's a mind fuck. Okay? So back into Ted, Miss Bannerman realizes that the police are onto her, and Ted returns home to find she has hanged herself.
She sends him away to go buy like ice cream or something and tells him, here's the money, go do this. When you get back, you're going to have to clean up, but wait until the sun goes down.
Yes.
Is what she tells him.
She gives him instructions.
Yes.
On how to clear up the murder scene.
Her dead body,
Yeah.
essentially.
So he buries her in the woods, whispering, I hold you in my heart. The police arrive later, believing she is left for health reasons. Ted recognizes Lauren as both his protector and his burden, and Rob reveals Linda, the Chihuahua lady, has come home. So Night Olivia, which is Nighttime and Olivia together narrating a show. So Ted's personalities now coexist, including new ones emerging.
A lot of new ones, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Olivia is gone, but Night Olivia remains within Ted's mind. Then we jump back into Ted. Ted and Rob visit the lake to honor Lulu, and Ted finds Lulu's green pebble, but slips, reopening his wound.
Because it's like on his stomach. He falls and he like reopens it.
Yeah. Pain causes little Teddy to speak. In our pocket, but you threw it in the trash. Ted realizes his mother had hidden something about Lulu's disappearance. Little Teddy now was one of the new
Has
personalities.
a new personality, yeah.
Has a flashback, and it's Miss Bannerman receives Linda's house keys before going into the woods. She returns. So Linda was going on vacation,
And asked-
Ted's mom is supposed to be the housekeeper
Because
or
they
like
were
take
good
care of the
friends.
house.
They were best friends.
Yeah.
They sat
Supposedly.
and had drinks together and they chit
Which
chatted.
is crazy. Didn't know she was a murderer. She returns with a heavy suitcase humming. Highly uncharacteristic. She was in a great fucking mood. Little Teddy realizes she's buried something in Linda's cellar. So
Yes.
Ted,
Because she's gone. So now she's using Chihuahua Lady's house.
to bury
the dead
children's that she's been snatching. Ted, now in Ted's perspective, he rushes to the police, leading them to Lulu's hidden body in Linda's cellar. Detective Karen investigates and they find Miss Bannerman's tapes. Ted finally lets go of his mother's influence, declaring her forgotten. And she used to steal little boys, which is the green men that he would
Yes.
hear in the attic.
Yes.
And because Lulu's hair was cut super short, she thought she was a boy when she
Yes.
snatched her up off the side.
Yes.
And when she realized she was a little girl, she's like, well, I can kill you anyways.
Yes. And she's been hiding them all in.
Linda's basement. So Linda's house is now a crime scene. Ted's past is becoming clear, and he begins healing, seeing a therapist, finding peace with his alerts, starts a job at a diner. He replaces his mother's rug and enjoys a meal outside surrounded by birds, feeling free at last.
Him and that guy,
Become really good friends.
Yeah, they become good neighbor
Also,
friends.
And I think he like
that guy
goes-
likes Ted's cooking.
I think he was
Yes.
being nice. At one point, they're sitting out there, and he tries to leave, and Ted's like, "No, don't go."
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right." So he comes back and he sits down, and they.
I
sit
got
and
it. Like
continue to
Rob
drink.
was a little romantically interested
That's
in
what
Ted.
I thought, yeah. And so Ted was like kind of taking it in. But it's so sad if you think about it, now that we're at the end and we hear about it, that really all of this is only happening because the Bugman's giving him some crazy ass pills.
Well,
Enhancing.
it's enhancing all of the personalities.
Yes.
All right, let's get into our shot ratings for this book.
Our shots are: 1 shot is I'm not coming back for more. 2 shots, it's good enough for another, but not worth the hangover. And 3 shots, it got me up. You guys, after I finished this book, I felt so
Conflicted?
yes.
Same.
She talks about interviewing these people, and this is like real
There's a
stuff
whole,
that
like-
happens. It really opened
It's not
my
one
eyes
person,
to-
it's multiple people, and it's based on multiple people,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But they all had dissociative personality disorder, identity disorder.
Yes.
And I think she even says that she wants it to be like,
She wants to bring it to the
Bring it to
forefront.
the forefront.
Yeah,
Yes.
bring it to light. She does. Also, I would say I've listened to it a second time when we were about to do like the summary and stuff. I'm giving it 1 shot. But I do think re-listening to some of it to do the chumpies, I wish she hadn't written it to have this big reveal, because knowing he has this DID and this is all from his perspective, I think I viewed it a completely different way re-listening to it, right? The things he's going through, it's like he was the abused child. I was okay with the story when it was Olivia and Lauren because I thought Lauren was abducted. In fact, I feel like that almost would have been better. But it still had the wow, like, oh my gosh, what a crazy trip of a
Yes.
story this is.
Yeah.
Knowing that Ted is the one all along, it is still confusing and crazy and chaotic, but it really made me sad for little Teddy and for this life that he lived and the mom that he had and what he did to survive all the chaos and torture and surgeries and all that is, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot, but I don't hate it, but I also would never recommend it. And I really have to think about it. Cause like I said, I'm sticking with 1 shot, but it's not Twisted Love 1 shot. Right?
Okay.
I feel
it's-
like you're going to have a different opinion, so I'm going to go next.
okay.
I toggled between 1 and 2, but I landed on a 1.
Okay.
Because I won't reread it. I wouldn't recommend it. It was a mind fuck.
It was a mind fuck.
But also, I felt like the whole thing with Dee and how she just like runs off and dies. A little silly.
That's the part I truly did not like. I hated the whole part of it.
Consequences for all of her shittiness.
Yeah, well,
The consequences were she died.
But only because of a snake bite of something she's been fearing for no reason.
Yeah.
but even still, I don't know that she killed her sister. She was just
I don't don't think
right?
she killed her sister. She was just being a kid.
But I was upset that you're in denial about this whole
story?
This whole thought of us thinking that he kidnapped Lulu is because you're in denial of what you did to your sister?
Yeah.
Because you weren't honest? Because you couldn't come to grips with you being a shitty sister? I was bothered by that. Was the part that I think I really couldn't get past. And it was chaotic and crazy. And again, rereading it, knowing that all these people are the same people, it gives me a different perspective. I can't get past the D thing. I didn't like it.
Okay, so I toggled between 1 and 2 shots. Actually, I was thinking about what my rating was as I was going through the book. As I was going through it, I was like, oh, 1 shot. What the hell is happening? I'm so upset about this. I can't follow it. I don't know why. Then we get to the end, and then you realize what it is. And then I immediately said 2 shots.
Oh,
yeah?
Yes.
You
because
liked that
I
ending.
liked the ending in that it brought it all together. It finally made sense. I was like, okay. It was annoying that it took the entire book to get there, but I do say 2 shots. I thought it was good. I don't know that I would recommend it to everybody because I think it's a tough book to get through.
Yeah.
But I would probably recommend it to someone who I think would enjoy the genre and enjoy
a
that
psychologist
type. Yeah.
exploring did.
Yeah, who somebody would enjoy that. And I would
maybe.
recommend it to that. So I gave it a 2 shot because I like that it was a mind fuck. I enjoyed that part of it. It was a struggle. I had a theory every 10 pages.
Yes.
2 shots from rocks. No,
Oh, wow.
no
Good
question.
job. All right.
Okay.
So
Well,
good
cool.
pick, Sunny.
Oh, thanks. So that's a wrap on this episode of Literature on the Rocks. Thanks for listening to our deep dive of Last House on Needless Street. And make sure you check out the prompts that should be posted now. If you had as much fun as we did, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We're here for you every Wednesday.
Yeah, and while you're at it, rate and review us. It helps other book nerds and book lovers find us. Let's be real. We love reading your feedback almost as much as our books. Almost.
And then you can keep the conversation going by following us on our social media at Lit on the Rocks Pod on Instagram and TikTok, or on our website, literatureontherocks.com.
Until next time, may your TBR be long and your cocktails be strong. Cheers.
Toodaloo.
Bye.